first I'm going to show you a few key buttons on the calculator that you will need to know how to use when dealing with fractions. Do you see that there are some things written in yellow? If you look above the keys, there's some things written above it. If you have a different color calculator, they might be different colors, but on my blue calculator, the words above the buttons are written in yellow. In order to access these functions, you first need to hit the second key, which as you can see is in the top left-hand corner. So if I wanted to hit one of those that was yellow, I'd hit second, and then I would hit the button, and you would see that instead of doing the PRB, it's actually doing the F arrow arrow D. Okay, so that's one thing you'll need to know how to do today. First, I'm going to teach you how to type a fraction into your calculator. So take note of the button that has the A, B over C. As you can see, it's in the second column. It's the third button down. Here's mine. It says A, B over C. I call this the fraction key. To type in the fraction 1/4, I'm first going to type in the numerator, which is 1. So I type 1. Then I go back to that ABC button, the fraction button, and I will hit that. It makes a backwards L, and that's my fraction. So 1/4, because the fraction is 1/4, so my denominator is 4, so I'll type in 4. And now I've typed in the fraction of 1/4. If I hit enter, my calculator will recognize that I have just typed in 1/4. So let's try that again. Hit clear. Type in the numerator of 1, then the fraction button, and then 4, which is our denominator, and I have 1/4. If I want to type in a mixed number, let's say I want to type in 18 2/3. First, I'm going to type in the whole number, which would be 18. Then I hit the fraction button again, and now I'll type in my numerator of 2, fraction bar once, or fraction key once more, and my denominator of 3. If I hit enter, it shows up the fraction of 18 2/3. So once again, to type in a mixed number, you start with the number, so 18. Then I hit the fraction, numerator, which would be 2 for 2/3, fraction button again, and the denominator of 3. Hit enter, and now I have the mixed number 18 2/3. Now that you know how to type a fraction into your calculator, I'm going to show you how to convert a fraction to a decimal. Do you see the button that's labeled F arrow arrow D? It's in the second column, second row down. F arrow arrow D. As you can see on my calculator, it's written above the actual button because my button is the PRB button. So in order to access it, I'm going to have to hit the second button and then the F arrow arrow D button, or I call it the fraction to decimal. So if I want to convert the decimal 0.5 or 1/2, 5/10, to a fraction, I first type in the decimal, so I typed 0.5. To convert it to a fraction, I will hit the second fraction to decimal key, which is above the PRB, so I hit the PRB button after hitting second, and then hit enter, and my calculator now shows the fraction 1/2. Let me show you one more time. I first type in the decimal 0.5, then I hit the second fraction to decimal key, which is above the PRB, and then hit enter, and it now shows me the fraction 1/2. We can use this exact same key to convert a fraction into a decimal. So if I start off with a fraction of 1/4, so remember to type in a fraction, I type in the numerator, the fraction key, which is below the PRB key, 1/4. So now I have a fraction, now I want to make it into a decimal. So I've written it as a fraction, I hit the second PRB, or the fraction to decimal, so I see that I'm converting a fraction to a decimal, and I hit enter, and now it's converted the fraction 1/4 to the decimal 0.25. Once again, I type in the fraction 1, fraction 4, hit the second key, and then I hit the fraction to decimal, and I now have the decimal 0.25. The last thing I want to show you is the improper fraction key. It is the button in yellow that is above the fraction key. So here's the fraction key that I learned about earlier, And above it, you see ABC and then arrow, arrow, D over E. That's saying I can take an improper fraction and turn it into a mixed number into an improper fraction, or vice versa. Remember that if it's written in yellow or above the key, I have to hit the second key first before I would type it in. I want to convert 6 2/5 into a mixed number. So I first type in the fraction 6 2/5. Remember, I'm hitting the ABC button every time I want to make it a fraction. So 6 2/5. And now I want to make it into a mixed number. So I hit the second, and then I have the ABC button, but it's above it. Hit enter, and now I have an improper fraction of 32/5. Once again, I type in the fraction 6 2/5. The second, and then I hit the fraction key again, but this time I'm converting from a proper to an improper. Hit enter, and now I have my improper fraction of 32/5. I can do it the other way as well. Let's say I start with an improper fraction of 10/3, so I'll clear my screen. 10/3, 10, fraction 3. 10 is my numerator, 3 is my denominator. And I want to make this into a mixed number. I hit second, and I hit that fraction button again. This time it's converting it to the mixed number 3 1/3. Thank you for following along with me as I teach you how to properly use the calculator to type and convert fractions.